Hi, this is Victoria Paxton-Hill, your sixth graders math teacher, and I'm making this video to help you guys understand how to use Schoology in our class. So the reason I'm doing this is we do some self-pacing in math class, meaning that students are given some opportunities to work on the lessons at the speed they need. And this is within sort of reason, within expectations, meaning our first unit test is October 11th, and students need to complete all of their lessons by that deadline. They could take the test earlier if they're ready earlier, allowing them to move on, but that's the final deadline for the test. So in self-pacing, each lesson that we create is meant to be about 40 to 80 minutes, depending on the student and maybe if they're struggling with something or if they're finding it a little easier. Again, students who complete it faster, maybe they're really confident, maybe they've already learned something, are able to move on. And students who need more time, we can give them some more time in the class, but they also might need to go home and complete a lesson at home. Or if they were absent, they might need to go home and work on the lessons at home. And I want to make sure you guys know how to access them. So we have three main links that we look for in our class. Materials gives us our cover page. This is going to take you to where all of the lessons are housed, all the folders. Updates here will often show at the top of the page. There's also an update tab, and you can see links maybe to activities I needed students to access during the class, or updates like reminders about when a test is. And last is grades. And when you click on the grades, you will see all of the assignments that they have completed and turned in and gotten a grade for. Minor are all the lessons that we've completed. So I grade based on the standard, which is essentially like what they have to learn by the end of that lesson, and that's what gets graded. We also have practice grades. Practice grades don't impact or affect the final grade, but a practice grade will let you see how they're doing on the assignments that don't get an official grade. So you can see maybe, is my student doing the practice? Maybe they're doing all the practice, but their test scores aren't high, and we can kind of look at that and see what's happening or what's going on. And then there's major grades, which will be our test scores. In grades, and I'm not actually going to click on this because I am on a student's page right now, so I don't want to share that student's grades, but we can look at the rest of it in student view. But once you're in grades and you click on it, you can see the score, and for many of the assignments, especially if they are ones that I graded by hand and were not automatically graded, you will get feedback. So I might write or record feedback on how to fix the grade so the student could go in, or fix the assignment so the student can go back in and kind of see where they made a mistake and make corrections to build their understanding. In this class, you usually can't click on grades to open a new assignment. So in many classes that aren't set up this way, Schoology will let students just click on an assignment in the gradebook and complete that assignment. Mine are set up a little differently, and that's what I want to show you. So on this page, we can see, if we scroll down, first thing that we have are these links. So the workbooks we keep in the class because we don't want them to get lost, but maybe you're working on it at home. We have an online workbook that they can view to see some of the questions, to see what the lessons are, and I have it in English and Spanish. We also have a link for families, and this is going to show sort of maybe an overview of what they're learning, give you some resources and ways to help your student out, and I have that in English and Spanish as well. Down here, we can see that we have a folder of lessons. This is where all of the work that we're doing is housed. We keep it here. We can see the homework practice folder. This is new. We just started this week, and I'll show you how to do that so your student can do that at home. And then we also have our self-pacing chart. And what students do here is they would open it up, they would find their name, and they would mark what lesson that they're working on. And what that allows the other students to do is find students who are working on the same assignment, the same lesson, so they can work together, because we know that social part of middle school, that sharing of ideas, is really going to help the students learn. But my focus is going to be on these top two folders today. So if I click on this lesson folder here, we can see we're in Unit 1. And we can see there are 4 lessons posted here. All 4 of these lessons are supposed to be done before class on Friday. So this is regardless of the self-pacing. Students have had, some of them have time to work ahead, some of them needed a little extra time, but all 4 of these are supposed to be done by the start of class on Friday. So we can see that this student here has completed 3 of the lessons. If we open it up, we can see sometimes there's many parts to a lesson and they have to do it in order. I started to try to simplify them more, and we can see right here, there's one assignment and they must score a 7 out of 10, so a 70% or better. And I'm going to show you what that assignment looks like so you know how to work through it with your student. And then once they get a 70% or better, it will mark it with this green check saying complete. Now, if they don't get a 70% or better, they complete it, but they struggled on it, it won't say complete, but it will still let them move to the next lesson. And maybe they'll come back, or they want to work on it with a teacher one-on-one to kind of figure out what they didn't understand. The goal here is to give myself and Miss O'Malley, who also teach, and some of the adult assistants in the classroom chances to really work one-on-one or in small groups with a lot of the students, while students who are confident in moving ahead are given that opportunity to move ahead. So when we open that lesson, it gives us a title. It's about parallelograms. We know that this whole lesson is in this one assignment, and it should take 40 to 80 minutes. Students might need more time, and that's fine. We want them to use their resources. So we have a workbook, we have videos, we have resources on the walls in the classroom, but they can talk to classmates or friends. If they're working on it at home, they can talk to maybe a family member. The goal is for them to use their resources and really try to work through it first. And then if they're struggling with it, that's when I want them to say, okay, I've tried all of these different ways to solve this problem, right? We want that relying on themselves, we want that problem solving. And then we can look at and we can see where they're really confused. And that makes the time spent maybe one-on-one or in a small group mean more, because we can look at exactly what they're confused about and really help them understand. And they're much more likely to remember this because they put their time into trying to maybe solve the problem. Now, we don't want students to spend so much time that they get frustrated, but we want them to really kind of look at those resources and see what they can do first, right? And notice it says take your time, use your resources, work with a partner, and when you're done, check your grade. Our goal is a 70% or better, so students can correct their work, but I don't want them to get like stuck on one assignment. Maybe they get a 65%. They can move on and they can always come back to this one when they've had a chance to practice a little more and feel a little better about it and try to correct it. And notice they do have multiple attempts. So if we start this attempt, we can see it usually starts with a short video, and most of the videos will show up. Every once in a while, a video is blocked because it's linked through YouTube. If it's blocked, a student should just let me know and I'll try to fix this. The reason I link it through YouTube most of the time is because it will allow students to use the closed captions. So it will have closed captions automatically in English, and it also allows them to translate it if necessary. Same way I'm sending you this video, and you could put on those closed captions and follow along. So we always start out with an objective. What's my lesson about? To make sure they're really focused on knowing what they have to learn. Usually gives directions, like you're going to go to page 25 in your workbook. Here, this page is an activity. So notice it says they're going to do page 25. They're going to watch this video if they don't understand the directions in the workbook. Once the directions are done, they're going to pause the video and complete page 25. And then they can watch the rest of the video to review your answers. So in this particular one, I know some students move ahead and they don't wait and they don't try it themselves. We're really trying to get students in that good habit of trying to think about it themselves. And we have this problem in a regularly structured class too, where teacher goes over the answers and the student waits for the teacher to go over the answers. So we're really pushing students to, no matter how we're teaching this, try it themselves first and then check their work. And the way that they would check their understanding is here they would complete this, and we have like a drop down menu for them to answer. And then when they submit it, they can go back and they can check their work. So again, even though down here it looks like, oh, 9 whole pages, some of these pages tell them you're going to go to this page now. Here, there'll be some links sometimes if there are online activities with digital tools. It has this video, and then they should be completing the answer. And then I'm always going to go over the answer. So the first few problems that they try to solve, I'll give the instructions, give them a chance to work it out in their workbook and enter their answer. And then I'll have a video where we go over step by step how to solve a problem. As we get towards the end of the lesson, you'll see that there are questions with no video. So this is sort of like a cool down. Okay, what can the student do on their own now? And then they would go ahead and they would submit this assignment. And it would give them that grade. And they could say, okay, I feel really confident about this. I feel ready to move on. And sometimes I'll have a question at the end of the lesson that says, how confident do you feel about this lesson? So they're sort of thinking about their own learning, which helps them think about how much time did I spend on this? Did I write all my notes in my workbook? So we'll ask some of those questions like at the end of class to get them really thinking about it. Okay, I know this video is a little longer and I really wanted to include as much as possible in one video, so hopefully you can use this as a reference if you need to. Last thing I want to look at is this homework practice folder. So when students do their homework practice folder, this is going to go to Khan Academy, which is like a set of 4 to 10 questions. I do assign it, so the students were assigned this on Wednesday, and I have it set due Friday morning, and this one is about 9 questions. Sometimes they're going to be review of earlier grades, and sometimes there'll be materials that we're working on right now. And the goal is really, again, to give them that practice, give them that automatic, immediate feedback to help them be successful. When they click on this, it's going to give them a link, but they do need to use their Khan Academy username and password. So in this folder, every student has their name and password listed, and it is set up so the student can only see their own name and password. So when they would click on this, and I mentioned it's called a unit test, but that's from a previous grade, and I just want to see what skills we might need to practice. And it takes a moment to load sometimes. So the big thing that we want students to do is notice I am signed in. So they need to click the log in button or it doesn't record. And then this gives them that immediate feedback. They would click the let's go and they would be asked this question. So it we should be able to use the accessibility tools on their Chromebooks, on their school devices if they need it read to them. And if a student's not sure how to do that, they can ask in class and we'll try to set that up and make sure that's ready for them. It's new this year, it's different from last year, so it's a learning curve for me as well. But we can also set the language on Khan Academy so it can be whatever language a student is most comfortable working with. But they would go ahead and they would solve their problem. If they don't know what to do, they could click skip and it will count as incorrect, but maybe they say, yes, I want to skip it. I don't know what to do. And they would, right here, it would tell them the steps of what to do. So they could kind of look through and see the steps of what to do. And again, they could set that in the language they're most comfortable in, or they could set that in they could use the accessibility feature to have it read to them if they need that as well. So I know this was a long video. I'm going to end it here. If you have any questions, However, I will do my absolute best to get back to you. And if I miss a message, don't feel like it's a bother to send a second message. Absolutely send me more messages if you need to. And I or Miss O'Malley will get back to you and we will help you so you can help your student and we can work together to make sure that everyone is successful. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this so we can help your student be a successful mathematician. Have a great day.